And so a buddy of mine who's really into wrestling was always asking me, hey, you got to come down and watch wrestling with me. And I'm like, yeah, because sure.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I haven't done that since 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And but then he called up. He's like, look, I got backstage passes. You know, because he was really into it.
Like, yeah.
Thanks, Josh. And
Gotta give him a shout out for that.
he's a great guy. And so he had got these, and I'm thinking backstage passes. Like, hell, I'll go see, like, you know, WNBA if I had backstage passes, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. You know,
not?
circus. And so I go back there, and it was like everything good and bad about wrestling you can imagine. Like, I see like the Nature Boy Ric Flair shaving himself with a cheap disposable pink razor while he was being oiled up.
Yeah.
And like all these people like from your youth, and like, you know, villains are talking to good guys, and so
Immediately shattered. All your fantasies
oh
shattered.
yeah. But then I saw Goldberg just for a second, and you know, I was introduced to him, nice guy, and then I saw him in the ring. We had these ringside seats too, and the whole audience stood up and they're like, Goldberg, and I'm like, and I looked at him, I'm like, that's got to be Santa, you know. And so he invited us out to dinner, and it was a weird crowd. It was like Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell.
He shows up everywhere.
Oh yeah, no, it was like
he's everywhere.
It was like
Belding,
such
really?
David Arquette. It was like
my
this
God.
weird eclectic
Well,
thing.
Arquette's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah,
Makes
he's a
sense.
wrestling fan. So,
But Mr. Belding, wow.
So we're at dinner, and I'm
Like I
like,
said, game.
I'm like, Goldberg, I hate to be the Hollywood guy, but I got a script for you, you know? And I told him about it, and he's like, so wait a minute, you mean I get to be Santa and kill people? He's like, I'm in, you know, like that was it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, I'm Jewish, I get to play Santa and kill, like, no question.
And the rest was history.
Yeah.
History.
And so he was doing a cameo on, like, I think it was Spider-Man 2 or something, and my buddy got me on the lot, and I came with that one sheet.
Yeah.
And I had him photoshopped in.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm like,
look.
here. And he's like, where do I sign?
That's amazing.
And that's how I got Goldberg.
That
you
is
know?
amazing. And so not only did you get Goldberg as Santa Claus, but he doesn't ride a conventional reindeer. He rides a buffalo. And we actually have from the DVD an awesome scene of what you had to do to make this buffalo a rain buffalo, I guess, to make it
hell deer.
hell deer. So let's take a look at that.
When I read the script, first of all, I thought that this was like a $50 million movie or something. I said, you're going to make the buffalo deer from hell fly, and I goes, trust me, I got this. I know how I'm going to do this.
We figured out we could do it with a blue screen, and we were able to hang them, but we could only hang them for 30 seconds because just the sheer weight of them, they can't support it.
The Humane Society, there to make sure everything's going right. We built a special webbing for the buffalo. I mean, it costs quite a bit of money, you know, to make sure the buffalo is really comfortable.
So we had cameras just whizzing by, just to steal whatever shot we could get. Matt Leonetti was going right in as close to the buffalo as he could. You know, it was just sheer mayhem, and that's when I just kind of took that second and just looked around and go, I can't believe we're doing this. This is insane. So you have the buffalo who's, I don't know, like 1,500 pounds, the sleigh which is like 800, and Goldberg who's like 300. It's like, man, I hope those cables are strong. How about we don't stand near it? All the different techniques that we went through, I think this definitely worked the best. Especially, you know.
So, okay, so I was wrong. I was just corrected by the man who knows. Not a buffalo, a bison.
Right.
A bison. Not M. Bison, the Street Fighter character, just a bison. And it's a hell deer in the
Hell
film?
deer, hell deer.
So you had to raise this thing up for only 30 seconds because it was so heavy and then bring it back down.
Oh yeah, they're so massive. And I mean, it was like, first of all, it was so ridiculous that we had a bison suspended in the air. You know,
Not even suspended, but the fact that you guys actually went to the trouble of getting a real bison and not just being like, all right, we'll just get an animatronic bison from some Universal
It's not that
lot.
ridiculous, really. It is Hollywood, after all.
Well,
it's cheaper.
but
And they had
amazing.
bison up there too. So it was because we shot in Canada and it was like, oh, you got bison, they can do this?
All over the
We've got one right
'Cause
here.
I was like-
right in the back, yeah.
Because originally I was like, oh, well, maybe we should have elk or deer. And then it was like, you know how much it's going to cost, to do deer? Oh, we'll do animatronic. No, and so it was a cost thing. And then we couldn't afford multiple anything.
Right.
And then we were like, the justification was like, one of my favorite films is Blazing Saddles, right?
Yeah.
And so Mongo, he didn't ride a horse.
Nope.
He had an ox. And so I was like, well, Santa wouldn't have deer, you know?
He'd have a bison.
People crush them. That's what's
And so,
happening.
but the best part was like, okay, so can we paint him? so,
Spray paint the bison.
and
Yeah,
so there they are, powdering him all up, and
that's
he's white.
great.
And they had two, and these bison, like Ronnie and Apache, right?
Look at that. You
I know, I was
remember
like,
the names.
Wow.
Only because like they would bolt. Like
Really?
once, like on set, one bolted, and it was so funny watching the whole crew try and chase him.
Wow.
And but not get too close. Like, here we got him. Now what? So. And
That's fantastic.
And then, one was scared of Goldberg's voice. So as soon as, Goldberg would say something, he would just buck and take off.
I'm scared of Goldberg's voice.
Seriously,
Just watching the
put
film.
that voice in the movie.
So
yeah.
you went through all the trouble. You suspended a bison in air.